What if the one person who cared most became the ultimate victim? What secrets did their bond hide? Was Cody's kindness the very reason he was marked for death? In a quiet town where hope was scarce, two brothers found themselves caught in a tragedy that defied all understanding. Cody Amato was known to be the unwavering supporter, a man who risked everything to protect his younger brother, Grant. While Grant battled inner demons and a past filled with hardship, Cody's belief in him never wavered. He covered debts that threatened to crush Grant's already fragile existence and even paid for the rehabilitation that promised a second chance at life. This was a relationship built on loyalty and sacrifice, a bond that many would call unbreakable. Yet, in a single, devastating moment, that bond was shattered beyond repair. The story begins with a series of mysterious events that led to an unimaginable act of betrayal. Cody, the last beacon of hope for a troubled man, became the victim of the very person he sought to save. In a shocking turn of events, Grant turned his weapon against Cody, ending a life that had been dedicated to saving him. In the aftermath, Grant took Cody's phone and manipulated evidence, crafting a false narrative that left investigators scrambling for answers. Questions arose that no one could ignore. Could the pure act of compassion have set in motion a chain of events that led to such a heartbreaking outcome? Was there more beneath the surface than a simple act of violence? The background of this tragic tale is as complex as it is heart-wrenching. Grant had long struggled with personal demons, a history marred by mistakes and regret. His life had been punctuated by failed relationships and lost opportunities, each one deepening the darkness that he could not escape. Amid this turmoil, Cody emerged as a stabilizing force, a steady presence willing to sacrifice everything to lift his brother from the depths. In paying off bills and arranging rehabilitation, Cody clung to the hope that love and perseverance could overcome even the most daunting challenges. Yet, as the story unfolded, subtle tensions began to surface. Friends and acquaintances recalled moments when Grant's behavior hinted at a conflict that went far beyond the typical struggles of a troubled soul. There were whispers of bitterness and an undercurrent of resentment that even Cody's kindness could not fully erase. Some suggested that the very support meant to heal might have unwittingly deepened the wounds of a man who felt trapped by gratitude and expectation. Such conflicting emotions set the stage for an outcome no one could have foreseen. The turning point came on a fateful night that would alter the course of both their lives. Details remain etched in the memories of those who followed the case closely, a night marked by a confrontation so shocking that it left the community in disbelief. As tensions reached a boiling point, Grant's actions escalated beyond control. In an act that defied every instinct of brotherly love, he turned on Cody with a force that was both sudden and unrelenting. The brutality of that moment was matched only by the confusion that followed. In an effort to obscure the truth, Grant stole Cody's phone, planting evidence meant to shift blame and complicate the narrative. This calculated move raised more questions than it answered, leaving investigators to piece together a puzzle that seemed designed to mislead. As the investigation unfolded, law enforcement encountered conflicting accounts and a web of emotions that muddied the truth. Witnesses recalled fragments of a night filled with heated words and unresolved tension. Forensic experts pored over the physical evidence, each detail adding another layer to a case that appeared as if it were constructed to confound even the most seasoned detectives. While some theories pointed to a final, desperate act born from overwhelming inner turmoil, others suggested that external pressures and long-held secrets had played a decisive role. The investigation, steeped in uncertainty and marked by surprising twists, forced everyone involved to confront the possibility that no act of kindness, however sincere, is immune to the complexities of human emotion. In the months that followed, the community was left to grapple with the aftermath. Families and friends mourned not only the loss of a man who had given so much, but also the unraveling of a story that was meant to be one of redemption. The tragedy cast a long shadow over the lives of those who believed that love could conquer even the darkest circumstances. In quiet moments of reflection, questions lingered. How could someone who received nothing but love and support end up committing such a devastating act? Was there a deeper, unspoken struggle that Cody had failed to see? And above all, was it possible that a commitment to saving another could, in a cruel twist of fate, lead to utter destruction? Throughout this account, we must remember the weight of every decision, every gesture of kindness, and every moment of despair. Cody Amato's commitment to his brother was not a misguided effort, but a testament to the enduring power of familial loyalty. His life, marked by sacrifice and a hope that never faded, serves as a reminder of how fragile trust can be when burdened by unspoken pain and unmet expectations. Meanwhile, Grant's actions challenge us to consider the complexity of redemption and the dangerous interplay between gratitude and guilt. There is no simple answer to why a man who received so much compassion would choose to inflict irreversible harm upon the one person who stood by him. In examining this case, experts have offered varying interpretations. Some point to a mental and emotional disconnect, suggesting that Grant's inner world was so conflicted that even the clearest signs of love were distorted into triggers for violence. Others argue that the incident was a culmination of long-term neglect, an outcome not of malice alone, but of an environment where unresolved issues festered and exploded in a moment of catastrophic clarity. In either interpretation, the result remains unchanged: the loss of a life that was dedicated to caring for another, and the permanent void left in its wake. As we sift through the evidence and hear from those who knew the brothers, the narrative grows ever more complex. Interviews with people close to the family reveal a portrait of two men who, despite sharing a bond that many would envy, were ultimately separated by forces they could not control. Neighbors remember Cody as a gentle soul whose only desire was to see his brother rise above his troubles, while others recall Grant as a man torn between hope and despair, a man whose struggles were as visible as the scars on his past. The differing accounts offer no simple resolution, only a series of questions that echo long after the final testimony has been given. In the quiet aftermath of the tragedy, the community continues to search for meaning in an event that defies conventional understanding. How does one reconcile the overwhelming acts of generosity with the stark finality of violence? Can a single act of compassion, however well-intentioned, trigger a chain reaction of self-destruction? And what does this case reveal about the limits of human endurance when faced with the relentless pressures of life's burdens? These questions remain unanswered, lingering like shadows that refuse to be illuminated by the light of reason. As the investigation pressed on, law enforcement and psychological experts found themselves facing a maze of conflicting motives. Each piece of evidence, each testimonial account, added to a narrative that seemed engineered to confuse. While some clues hinted at a premeditated attempt to rewrite the past, others suggested a spontaneous eruption of repressed emotions. The deliberate staging of evidence by Grant, intended to misdirect and obfuscate, stands as one of the most perplexing elements of the case. It is a move that forces us to question the reliability of memory, the influence of pressure, and the dangerous outcomes when desperation overwhelms reason. For those who have followed this story closely, the case of Cody and Grant Amato is more than a mere account of tragedy, it is a reflection of the darker corners of the human condition. It forces us to examine the delicate balance between hope and despair, and how the most sincere intentions can sometimes lead to unthinkable outcomes. The community's sorrow is tempered only by a collective search for answers, even as the scars of loss remain deeply etched into the lives of those who witnessed it all. Family members, friends, and neighbors continue to grapple with the legacy of a man whose life was defined by sacrifice, and a tragedy that has left more questions than answers. In reflecting on the events that unfolded, it is essential to honor the memory of Cody Amato. His efforts to save his brother were born from a place of genuine care, a belief that every life holds the possibility of redemption. Yet, the betrayal that followed challenges us to consider the limits of intervention when faced with internal turmoil. This story, as painful as it is perplexing, reminds us that acts of compassion are not immune to the complex interplay of human emotion. The consequences of such actions, however noble, may sometimes be as unpredictable as they are irreversible. As we piece together the fragments of this case, the narrative remains shrouded in uncertainty. The community continues to ask: could the weight of unspoken expectations have driven Grant to commit an act that defied all reason? Was Cody's unwavering support the very element that sealed his fate? These are not questions that can be answered easily, for they lie at the intersection of hope, despair, and the inexplicable nature of human behavior. In the silence that follows, the only certainty is the profound loss that has left an indelible mark on all who knew them. This true story is a sobering reminder of how fragile our bonds can be, even when forged in the fires of love and loyalty. The tragedy of Cody and Grant Amato is not just a tale of personal loss, but a case study in the unpredictable consequences of unwavering support. It challenges us to look beyond simple explanations and to consider the vast, often confounding, spectrum of human emotion. As we continue to seek understanding in the wake of such a devastating event, we are left with a narrative that is as compelling as it is tragic, a narrative that forces us to confront the limits of hope when faced with the relentless weight of despair. In the end, the case remains unresolved, with questions that persist long after the initial shock has faded. The actions of that fateful night continue to be dissected by experts, mourned by a community, and pondered by those who believe that every act of love carries with it an unforeseen risk. The legacy of Cody Amato, a man who gave everything in a bid to save his brother, serves as both a tribute to the power of familial love and a cautionary tale about the unforeseen consequences of even the purest intentions. As we close this chapter of a story marked by both hope and tragedy, we are left with the haunting question: can a single act of love be both a blessing and a curse? The answer, much like the truth behind this case, remains elusive, a mystery that continues to confound those who search for meaning in the chaos of human existence. Let this story stand as a testament to the enduring impact of sacrifice and the unpredictable nature of the human heart. We invite you to reflect on these events and share your thoughts. What do you believe drove Grant to commit an act that no one could have foreseen? How can we reconcile the unyielding support of one man with the devastating outcome that followed? Your insights matter, and in exploring these difficult questions together, we honor the memory of those we have lost. This is a true story, a story of hope, heartbreak, and the enduring mystery of what drives us when all seems lost. Grant's journey was never an easy one, a life marked by hardship, lost chances, and battles that left deep scars. His troubled past set the stage for a series of choices that seemed destined for heartbreak. In the midst of his struggles stood his older brother, Cody Amato, a man whose commitment went far beyond mere words. Cody stepped in when no one else would, offering financial support and a chance at recovery by funding a rehabilitation program. His actions were a lifeline in a sea of despair, a real-life example of sacrifice and hope that defines many true crime documentaries. Cody's support wasn't just about money, it was a promise to lift Grant from the depths of his personal turmoil. Every debt Cody paid and every effort he made to steer Grant toward a better future was a testament to the strength of family ties. Yet, sometimes the very help meant to save a life can carry an unexpected weight. As Grant's internal struggles grew, the balance between compassion and dependency began to shift, setting the stage for an unimaginable betrayal. A tragic chain of events unfolded when, in a moment that defies all understanding, Grant turned against the one person who had always been there for him. In an act that shook the community, Grant shot Cody, a man who had invested everything in the belief that his brother could change. Not only did Grant commit an act that left a void too deep for words, but he also deliberately took Cody's phone to stage a misleading narrative. This calculated move only deepened the mystery, raising the question: could Cody's unwavering kindness have been the very force that sealed his fate? This case, based on verified accounts and documented evidence, is not presented to exploit pain but to honor the memory of those lost and to question the unpredictable nature of human behavior. As we trace the timeline, from Cody's relentless support to the shocking act of violence, the details reveal a conflict that is as complex as it is heartbreaking. Witnesses offered conflicting testimonies and clues emerged that seemed designed to leave investigators, and us, grappling with more questions than answers. What forced a man, who received nothing but loyalty and love, to commit an act that defies logic? In every interview and every report, a chilling possibility surfaces: that the pressure of gratitude and the burden of expectation may have become too overwhelming to bear. This real crime story, unfolding like an unsolved mystery, forces us to confront the difficult truth that even the purest acts of care can carry unforeseen consequences. As we explore this case, each detail serves as an open loop, urging us to question and reflect. The timeline is a countdown of events where every decision has its weight, a series of moments that culminated in a devastating outcome. How did a relationship built on hope and sacrifice end in such tragic betrayal? And could there have been signs that no one noticed until it was too late? We present these facts with the utmost respect for the victims and their families. Every word is drawn from verified sources, ensuring that the narrative remains true to the events and honors those who lost everything. This true crime documentary aims to shed light on the complexities of human emotions and the sometimes unpredictable consequences of genuine compassion. Stay with us as we move deeper into this case. In the upcoming segments, we will examine the investigation that followed, scrutinizing witness statements, analyzing forensic evidence, and uncovering the twists that continue to baffle experts. The mystery lingers. Was Cody's enduring support the catalyst for a tragedy no one could foresee? Join us as we piece together this puzzle, one clue at a time, and ask the hard questions that this unsolved mystery leaves in its wake. Grant's struggles began early, marked by repeated battles with addiction and a lifestyle that left him raw and exposed. His choices, made under the heavy weight of personal hardship, often led him down a path where hope seemed to vanish just when it was needed most. Friends and family recall moments when his mood could shift in an instant, a man caught between brief glimmers of light and long hours of shadow. His actions became as unpredictable as they were heartbreaking, a reminder of how personal demons can take over even the strongest will. Cody, however, was a constant in Grant's turbulent life. He stepped forward when no one else could, offering not only financial help but a deep, unwavering belief that his brother could be saved. Every debt Cody paid, every effort to guide Grant toward recovery, was a testament to a commitment that few could understand. In quiet family gatherings and whispered conversations among close acquaintances, Cody was remembered as a man who risked everything to keep his brother from falling further into despair. His sacrifices were many, and his faith in Grant unshakable, even when the odds were stacked against them. Close friends recall the warmth in Cody's eyes when he spoke about Grant, even as they acknowledged the heavy burden of responsibility he carried. One neighbor confided, Cody never gave up, even when it seemed there was nothing left to save. Another voice, more cautious, hinted at a deeper cost. Sometimes, the support meant to lift someone up can also tie them down. These conflicting memories add another layer to a story already steeped in unanswered questions. Every moment of support Cody provided seemed to count down toward an inevitable crisis, a series of choices that built up tension until it could no longer be contained. The records, the personal notes, and the accounts from those who witnessed their lives paint a picture of a relationship strained by the constant pull of past mistakes and present struggles. Yet, amid the chaos, there was a shared hope, that love and sacrifice could overcome even the most desperate of circumstances. This true crime documentary is built on verified accounts and documented evidence, presented with the utmost respect for those who endured this tragedy. We honor both the memory of Cody, a man who gave everything in an attempt to save his brother, and the painful reality of Grant's inner battles. As we follow their journey through the maze of personal turmoil and familial duty, one question remains at the forefront: how can the best intentions lead to such heartbreaking consequences? Stay tuned as we continue to explore the events that set the stage for the unthinkable. Every detail, every decision made in those critical moments, adds a new twist to this case, a case that challenges our understanding of loyalty and the limits of compassion. The open loop remains: what force turned unwavering support into a fatal outcome? The answer lies hidden in the depths of this tragedy, waiting to be uncovered. Cody believed that redemption was still within reach. Determined to give his brother a fresh start, he took every step possible to fund Grant's rehabilitation, a move seen by many as a final lifeline amid the chaos of Grant's struggles. Even as plans for recovery were set in motion, subtle signs began to hint that not everything was as it seemed. Close contacts recall receiving unexpected phone messages, brief texts that carried a tone of uncertainty and left unanswered questions hanging in the air. Those who observed the brothers' interactions noticed small yet significant changes. Conversations that once overflowed with hope now occasionally carried a sharp edge, as if hidden grievances were bubbling beneath the surface. One neighbor mentioned, there were days when you could sense a quiet tension between them, like the calm before an inevitable storm. This subtle shift left many wondering if the path to rehabilitation had come at a price that neither brother could fully grasp. Interviews with friends and family revealed that even in moments of support, a faint discord persisted. Grant's behavior, already unpredictable due to his troubled past, began to exhibit signs of deeper conflict. Some pointed to unexpected, cryptic messages on his phone, words that hinted at disagreements and long-held resentments. These small cracks in their relationship painted a picture of a bond under immense strain, where every promise of a new beginning was shadowed by doubts and unspoken fears. Then came the moment that raised more questions than answers. In a heated exchange that startled everyone present, the brothers clashed over issues that had long been suppressed. Their voices, charged with emotion and frustration, left onlookers wondering. The night unfolded like a countdown to disaster. Tension had been mounting for weeks, a series of unresolved issues, hushed disagreements, and unspoken resentments finally reached a breaking point. That evening, an argument erupted unexpectedly, sharp words and raw emotions clashing between the two brothers. In one horrifying moment, Grant fired a shot that shattered the fragile hope they had clung to for so long. Cody, the steadfast brother who had always offered a lifeline, was struck in the face. The impact was immediate and fatal. In the chaotic aftermath, a new twist emerged. Grant quickly took Cody's phone, an act that would later confound investigators. With calculated precision, he manipulated the evidence, staging a narrative designed to cast doubt on what had truly occurred. Digital messages were altered, a misleading trail left behind that muddied the waters of an already tragic event. Questions multiplied as the investigation deepened. Was this phone theft a desperate measure to deflect blame? Or was it a final, misguided attempt to rewrite a story that had spiraled out of control? Every piece of evidence, from altered text logs to conflicting witness statements, added another layer to this complex crime story. The details, drawn from verified sources and thorough forensic analysis, challenge us to question the nature of loyalty and the dark corners of human behavior. As investigators continue to piece together the timeline, the case remains shrouded in uncertainty. What truly drove Grant to commit such a drastic act against the one person who stood by him unconditionally? Was it a final burst of anger, a moment of profound confusion, or something else entirely? Each unanswered question serves as a reminder that sometimes even the clearest intentions can lead to unfathomable outcomes. All facts presented here are based on verified accounts, and we extend our deepest respect to the families affected by this tragedy. This true crime documentary aims to honor their memory by uncovering every detail, however painful, in the search for understanding. Stay with us as we continue to unravel this unsolved mystery, each clue, each open loop drawing us closer to the truth behind a night that changed everything. The investigation unfolded like a tightly wound clock, every second revealing new details and raising fresh questions. In the hours following the tragic event, police worked tirelessly to piece together a timeline that spanned every tense moment before and after that fateful night. Eyewitness accounts emerged, each offering a different angle, a heated dispute remembered by one neighbor, while another spoke of a quiet exchange that belied the underlying tension. Conflicting testimonies soon created a maze of red herrings. Some witnesses recalled Grant appearing agitated, his eyes clouded with inner conflict, while others noted moments of regret and hesitation in his demeanor. The stolen phone, with its altered messages, only deepened the mystery, suggesting a deliberate effort to distort the truth. Every new piece of evidence seemed to both answer and raise questions at the same time. Expert opinions began to shape a psychological profile that challenged conventional understanding. Criminal profilers offered insights into how long-standing emotional manipulation and deep-seated personal issues could push someone to commit an act as drastic as this. They mapped out the emotional trajectories of both brothers, showing how unresolved frustrations and a burden of unmet expectations could alter behavior in ways that defy simple explanation. At one point, investigators faced a critical juncture. Just when the case appeared to be moving toward resolution, a new clue forced a complete re-examination of the evidence. What was once seen as a clear motive now emerged as part of a complex web of emotions and miscommunication. This twist left the community and experts alike questioning every assumption held about that tragic night. What do you think really happened that night? Others argue that unresolved past conflicts and hidden resentments pushed Grant to a breaking point. Every unanswered question deepens the mystery. Could the support that Cody offered have, in a cruel twist, contributed to the tragedy? The case forces us to ask, could saving someone sometimes be a curse? With each passing moment, the open loops in this mystery draw us further into a story that challenges our understanding of loyalty, redemption, and the unpredictable nature of human emotion. As the investigation continues, one thing remains clear: every theory raises more questions, leaving us with a mystery that may never fully be unraveled. In the immediate aftermath, the community was left in shock and deep sorrow. Families and local residents struggled to comprehend a tragedy where the man who fought to save his brother became the final casualty. Law enforcement and support networks were stretched thin as they tried to piece together the events of that night. Relatives and close friends remember Cody as a man of unwavering loyalty and self-sacrifice, a hero whose loss reverberates far beyond the crime scene. Interviews with those who knew Cody reveal a common theme of profound grief mixed with confusion. One family member recalled, "He gave everything he had for his brother. It's hard to understand how his love could lead to such heartache." Such testimonies underscore the bitter irony: a gesture of love and protection transformed into a painful, irreversible loss. The town, still reeling from the impact, continues to search for answers as investigators work to understand how events unfolded. Even as the investigation progressed, many questions remained unanswered. Experts in psychology observe that the pressure of unresolved guilt and internal strife can distort reality, sometimes with fatal consequences. Some analysts suggest that Grant's internal conflict, a mix of regret, desperation, and unspoken anger, may have driven him to a breaking point. The persistent question echoes: was it Cody's boundless kindness that ultimately doomed him, or was there something deeper within Grant that led to this tragic outcome? These unresolved elements continue to haunt the case. Modern psychology offers insights into how extreme emotional burdens can twist even the most genuine acts of care into sources of unbearable pressure. In many discussions among professionals and those familiar with the case, the debate intensifies: can the very act of saving someone become a curse? Every piece of evidence and every conflicting testimony adds to a mystery that resists a clear answer. As we reflect on the events and the enduring impact on those left behind, the narrative remains open, a true crime documentary built on verified facts and a deep respect for the victims and their families. While justice has been sought, the real motives behind that tragic night continue to elude a definitive explanation. We invite you to share your thoughts. Was it Cody's kindness that doomed him, or was there something darker in Grant's psyche? Please like, subscribe, and comment with your theory as we continue to explore the layers of this unsolved mystery. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into another baffling case where truth is stranger than fiction.